Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an awesome life. How are you doing today? No, I don't have a southern accent, but I do live in the South. I want to answer a question, a viewer question, and that was, can I explain my, let's say, experience with being in an enlightened state? Now, this person had a different idea of what enlightenment meant. And I use two words. One is awakening and one is enlightenment. And they may be the same thing, but I look at awakening as you're awakened. And me. We know that we are not this. We know there's something greater. We know that we're coming out of the fog. When I say enlightenment, to me enlightenment is when you absolutely have dissolve the ego. You are totally in touch with your, let's say, higher self. You're pretty much disconnected from your body and you're in a total euphoric state. In fact, you don't even think anymore. In fact, other things could happen, like you might see things differently. You have what I call the fourth sight, where colors and the visuals are extremely intense. It's just a completely different state, and I use enlightenment to just sort of say that's sort of the peak. Now, is it the rainbow body and all this other stuff that I don't even understand? No. So I want to explain what my enlightenment experience was, and I have gone to that state, that super awakened state, a few times. One time it lasted for almost 2 years. It wasn't a glimpse of it. It was an awakened state that I consider clean, totally clean of everything that I had to even work on anymore. I was just there. That's all-knowing, having no questions, total love, not really connecting with the earth at all. So when I went into that state of euphoria, I actually, and this is just my experience, it could be different for everybody. Everybody could experience it differently because we're all at different places on different frequencies. Mine was when I stopped thinking completely. In fact, it was almost painful to even think. I didn't even need to. You don't really think. You don't need to think to do anything. You know to go to the bathroom. You know to eat. You know what you want and what you don't want. You don't have to think about it because you're connected out here. You're actually just manifesting those things. You're not having to put thought in to then send that message because you're one anyways. So this goes away. Then you disconnect from your body. I disconnected from my body. I'll speak for myself. And I was actually up here. It was back here. I actually felt it was enormous, like your space. You feel like you're the consciousness of space around the body. And you're so disconnected with, I was so disconnected with my body that I actually had to make an effort to speak and animate it. Because I back here didn't need to speak. I knew everything. I didn't even have to hold discussions. There was no reason to hold a discussion. There was nothing to talk about. You were just in a euphoric state. There was absolutely nothing to discuss. And so I was back here actually sort of not even looking through my eyes, basically just feeling like a huge presence that was watching myself. Now I didn't, I wasn't completely separate. I was aware of my body, but I really had to make an effort to function as a person. And the feeling was total euphoria because, and this is why I have you do meditations where you push your energy out. I'm trying to get you to connect to what you really are, and that's all of this out here that is intelligent, and it's you. It's not reacting to you, it is you. So if you're thinking something, it's thinking it. If you're wanting something, it's wanting something. If you know something's there, it knows that thing is there, and thus creates it, brings it into your reality, this density. Sometimes that takes some time, but you're okay with that because you have total faith. You have total needs met at all times, and you don't have any burning desires for anything. You feel like you have everything, yet things start to appear in lightning speed. I mean, the manifesting I was doing was, it was almost embarrassing. I mean, I would win things. I would walk in, and if I can remember, there was like 3 different contests for some reason that month. I walked in and won the big basket. There were like 300 people there, and I won the grand prize, huge basket of goodies. I went into another place, and they kept drawing my name. I got the T-shirt and the free massage and all this other stuff. And it was, people in the room were starting to say, okay, like, is this fixed? It wasn't. And then the third thing was, what else did I win? Oh, yeah. So I was talking about this, like, all these things are manifesting. I'm with my girlfriend. She goes, what are you doing? How are you doing this? I said, I'm not doing anything. It's just happening. So they had a drawing there, and they were naming the prizes, and one of them was one of these teeth brightening that was like worth $700. And they had a bunch of prizes. I said, that's the prize I want. I would really like that. And I'm not kidding. Like, within the minute of me saying that, they called my name, and it was that prize. And my girlfriend said, okay, you are freaking me out. So it gets freaky. You're so in touch with manifesting that you're just really creating your reality at every moment, because there's nothing in the way anymore. There are no beliefs. There's no questioning. There's no having to control anything. The ego's totally dissolved. And then I would see things. Everything was very intense. Colors were very intense. I also would feel things. Like, I could go outside, and I'm a runner, so I would be like, could feel the energy coming off of plants, because again, I was connected in that greatness of all that is and outside of the density of the body. So you're just really, that energy's going out here. So that's why I said, when you're in here and you're worried about me and I need this and you're going to do this, that's the me, that's the thinking, that's the trying to control, trying to manifest, when if you got rid of this, everything would happen. I found a 2-carat diamond ring in the middle of the road, in the middle of the city. A designer tie. When I opened my door, there was a brand new designer tie, must have dropped out of somebody's car. A tiger eye ring I found. What else? I mean, just it went on and on and on, and I was just, seriously, it was, a whole pile of money. They weren't pennies, they were quarters, a whole pile of quarters. I'm like, what in the heck? This just kept going and going and going. So when you detach from the me, the thing that you identify with, and you realize you're not that at all, you connect to all. And that's what I was connecting to. So I stayed that way. Really weird stuff, some strange stuff was going on. Oh, so I would get answers. I was told things. I can remember when I was running, and I was told, there's no such thing as time. It's an illusion. Everything is one thing, all happening at the same time. Not simultaneously. Everything's one thing happening. Everything that ever has been, ever will be, every probability, everything is all existing and happening at the same time, as one thing, as one energy. I couldn't wrap my head around it at the time. It makes perfect sense now. How can everything be one energy? And I thought, oh, they must mean like all these things are, and they said, no, it's not separate. It's one thing happening. Oh. I had to sneeze. So if that makes sense to you, that's what I was told. I would get messages on occasion that were very clear. I also went into the vortex. So if I meditated, I actually went into this black spinning vortex. And it felt really good too. I was like weightless. And again, totally detached from me. Nothing could bother me. I still had emotions, but I had no attachment to the emotions, so there was no suffering. Just a feeling of total well-being, that no matter what was going on, I had no fear of it, because I was already connected to that place that I knew we all are, and that nothing that happened on the earth could truly affect me. And that's how Eckhart Tolle was able to sit on a park bench for 2 years. He was in that euphoric state. He did say, this is interesting because I didn't know this till much later, I came down from that. So I didn't, I came down, I didn't go back down, but I came down from that. That super heightened state, and I didn't understand. I didn't know that you could come down from it. And Eckhart Tolle shared that he came down from it too, that he didn't stay in that super awakened state. And he said something. He said he literally had no desire to function in the world. And I thought, you know what? I think we come down from it so that we can function here and, get to business on our mission. Because when you're in that state, you don't want to do anything because it's, you can't relate to, you don't even want to have conversations with anybody. They have no meaning to you. They seem sort of, not silly because you don't even think that way. They just don't hold any value. It's sort of like an effort. You don't want to talk about politics or religion or anything. It's like, I don't need to talk anymore. You could practically communicate with other people through the mind, and there's nothing really to discuss other than, joy and love. I mean, it sounds really corny maybe, but that's how I felt. But I realized coming down from the heightened enlightenment state, for me, that was enlightenment, and coming into a heightened awakened state allowed me to get to work and start making some decisions and connecting more to the world and being able to do this. If I was in that other state, I probably wouldn't connect with the world at all. I'd probably go off and do something helpful somewhere and where I didn't really have to talk to anybody, and maybe I would help people, who knows, in some village somewhere where I just could, chop wood and sweep floors, and not have to really function in the world that can be very harsh, and you become more sensitive too, but not sensitive in a negative way, more sensitive like you're so aware of how distorted everything is, and that everything's so very clear. So I don't know if you've been in that state. And the fourth sight is sort of bizarre. You see things so visibly clear and intense and bright and colorful because it's like somebody pulled a veil off. The other thing too is you have a feeling of love that's beyond the word love. Love does not express. Love doesn't come close to expressing the feeling of what the one has for you. It's so way beyond any love that you've ever experienced, unless you've experienced that awakened state kind of love, that you could just cry. It's so beautiful, and it's no words can describe it. It is, if you could experience that, and I know some of you have, you'd understand just why we should never worry about anything here, why we're okay, and why we should focus on just being and giving our best and quit worrying about what we get and trying to manifest what we want and focus on light and love and creating what we want, yes, of course, and enjoying life and having fun. It's part of that is experiencing this. But when, your intentions and your purpose has to be a part of all of that. So I love to travel. I'm going to get to be with people and do fun stuff, and I love all of that. I love my internet training, which does very well for me. I get to change other people's lives through that too, so there's a much higher purpose in that, and I never expected that, so it's not just a business to me. If you can incorporate all of that into what you do every day, and even if you do what you consider a mundane job, it's like, like I said, chop wood and, sweep floors is sometimes the path to enlightenment. It's not always having to do the, big stuff, the be in the spotlight or, get the recognition. It's about being that peaceful support person that moves the frequency to a higher level that is happening right now in a very big way. Also, we're going to talk about symptoms of awakening and going into the fourth and fifth dimension, because you guys have been experiencing that and I have some more information on it. So I hope this helps explain what I meant by enlightenment versus like awakening. Again, it could be the same thing. I just separate the thing because to me enlightenment just has such a cool, higher, you know, meaning to me. But it's all part of the same path. It's just a level of frequencies. And when you get to that, you'll know it. It's so beyond comprehension that there's no question. And you don't even name it because you don't have to anymore. You're it. And everything becomes beautiful. And just remember, you never stop being human. Christ continued to have feelings. Buddha, all of them, they have feelings. They just don't react to it. Oops. And that's part of the practice that we do every day. Is you got to be on it, because this is a dense world and it can pull on you. It can yank you a few times and hook you in, reel you in with that old ego, you know, can kick in. You got to watch it and be aware of it. And that's awakening. You're aware. So you're on the path. You're on the path. And if you shared your enlightenment stories, you know, with others, please share them on the comments. We would love to hear them, because again, it's not the same for everybody, and we all have our different journeys, but we're all the same. We all share the same energy. Remember that. Send your light and love every day out to the universe. It will come back to you tenfold. It is you. It is me. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious and happy. You are unconditionally loved beyond your comprehension. Namaste.